How to start investing in real estate with only $10,000. It is easier than you think, believe it or not. I'm going to break down exactly how do you find $10,000? How can you make $10,000? I have one solution. If you have good credit, I guarantee you can get $10,000. So stay to the end. Right now, we're going to go listen into an interview I did with one of my real estate partners, and who honestly I think is one of the fastest growing real estate guys in the country and smartest. He has dealt with more problems and has more experience than most of you will probably even get in your lifetime. So come listen in to Justin Bennett and I. All right, we are back. And as I said, we're going live with my partner, Justin Bennett, to talk about a few things real estate related. So the question is, how do I start investing in real estate with 10K? Specifically in this video, we're going to talk about where do you get started? Where can you find that kind of 10,000? Can you get loans or SBAs even like going to work that way? And how do you do some due diligence and look at the contract? So we're going to cover a lot of stuff. Get a pen and paper. We got a lot to talk about. Hi, Justin. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So Justin, tell those who haven't seen you on our YouTube channel a little bit about your real estate background so they know how darn good you are.
I started in real estate kind of right when I got out of college. I bought a commercial property that I ran a business out of and just kind of stayed in it throughout. But about 5 years ago, made the shift from corporate America to investing in real estate full time and started just flipping houses until the market got too crazy, and then started building a rental portfolio of single family properties, and decided that was just going to take too much time to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. So we had an opportunity come up where we were able to partner with some people and take advantage of an opportunity here locally with an apartment complex, 49 units, and we jumped at that opportunity and had a lot of success with it in a very short amount of time, and really figured out that that's where we wanted to spend our time and focus our energy, is on these big multifamily projects, because we had been through it all and seen where we could get the most bang for our buck. Now, that being said, we all have to start somewhere, and I started small, just like many of you out there that want to get started investing. And like Loral says, some people don't have access to that much capital. Some people are starting with 10K or less, and it's not a great feeling, but it's not something that should defeat you, because it is possible to invest in real estate in multiple ways with just little amounts of money.
Yep. And I didn't put any money in. I found what I call field partners. So I did a lot of the legwork and someone else brought the money. So let's just brainstorm a couple ways that people could start. I mean, obviously you could save 10,000. I'm a huge fan, believe it or not, of if you have a credit card that has 10,000, you could use it as an investment card as long as it's got zero or really low interest. What other ways could they find the 10? And where did they find a partner? I mean, I went straight to the streets and found somebody like you.
Absolutely. So that's, Loral nails it on the head there with, number one, other people's money is always the best option. And I'll come back to that. Number two is, saving the money, whether you have a job now or different side hustles to make some money. You have a cash machine that can generate that type of money to allow you to focus some energy and time into investing in real estate. If you're really wanting to invest in real estate, making it a full-time gig, then you're going to be set up for success, because people with money want people that will work for them, whether it's as an employee or as an investment vehicle or whatever the case may be. Other people's money, I'm going to tell you, is by far the best and easiest route to get involved in real estate and really start doing bigger deals than you could do on your own. With $10,000, when we talk other people's money, whether we're talking, a bank or a hard money lender, or like Loral says, some SBA or business loans or lines of credit, or, private money, people people they know, people you meet at real estate groups, whatever the case may be, there's all sorts of access to money out there. And most of it's looking for somebody to actually work the deals, because not everybody has the time to do that.
So talk a little bit about the actual more traditional loans and getting 10,000. I mean, in your opinion, you and I've raised a lot of capital at very large amounts. Would you go to a bank for 10,000? I mean, is it really
SBA loans, talk about those kinds. And what I will say, just to preface it, it will take longer. If you do that, that's going to be one downside, but talk a little bit about the upside or the different options there.
Yeah, so obviously, anytime you've got a relationship with a local bank, it's good because it's access to money, and especially if you're doing projects in your backyard. SBA loans are a little bit trickier when we're talking about real estate because they're more project specific instead of, starting a business from scratch, and there's not a lot of blue sky funding involved in real estate deals, and you don't want to have to go back to the SBA every time you're trying to do a small deal. Like Loral says, one of the big benefits is you create those relationships and it's easy to be a repeat borrower. The big downfalls of those is, like she said as well, you're trying to do something quickly, especially with the market the way it is right now, where houses aren't on the market very long, everything's overpriced as it is. So finding a deal as soon as you have it, you need to be able to close, and all the underwriting and guidelines and, credit scores required and down payment funds, as well as, reserve funds, all of those things come into effect when we're talking about traditional loans or SBA loans. When we start talking hard money loans or hard money lenders, some people call them loan sharks. They're getting paid for these loans. So they're making a lot of money really quick on a project you're running, but they're way less stringent on their guidelines. It's easier to borrow money. They're familiar with real estate. They can take over these deals if you default. So, the traditional banks and stuff, they don't want these deals back. They want you to do it. And if they get it back, they don't know what to do. They don't want it back. That's why there's so much due diligence on the front side from the banks. Whereas the hard money lenders, if you find a deal, they know they're going to miss out on it if they don't give you money. If you fail, they're going to take over it and go make the money. Now, they're still going to do some underwriting and make sure it's a deal in case you default, but they're less worried about the risk involved because they know how to come in and clean up a mess if one's created. So that's always a good route. And then obviously, private money is the quickest and easiest way to go because you eliminate almost all of the underwriting and strict guidelines, as well as, the due diligence process that forces people to get out and walk the streets. So they have it in their audit log and they have their due diligence packet and plan B alternatives. If you've got private money that knows you're going to do everything you can to make sure that this deal is successful and there is no option of failure, then it's quick, it's easy. You can close, within 7 days typically.
So Justin, talk a little bit about the private money, because I agree. I mean, it's the fastest money, it's the friendliest money. And even if you don't do well on a project, again, back to what I call a field partner, somebody's already had experience. I would lean towards somebody to be on the project that has experience, that can, sort through an issue if it comes up and if the project falls apart a little bit. Because a lot of times, like you said, a hard money lender is going to want it back and they know what to do. The banks don't want it back. Talk about the private money, because I think for most people that are watching, that's probably where they could go. What would be the conversation? Where would they go?
Like we said, it's the quickest, easiest access to money. Your partner in this, your lender, if you go private money, they want you to succeed. They don't want to have to take back over the project, not because they can't handle it, but because they want to make money. They want to get what they signed up for. They're putting their faith and their trust into you because you've proven yourself to them through, your investment packet or the way you talk about this project and the knowledge you have of the area and the different things and scope of work that you're going to accomplish with this project. They're no pressure to them. They are making money with you, alongside you as the lender. And when the project is finalized and over, they get their money back. They get the nice return, whether you're paying them along the way or at the end of the project. It's a lot more laid back. There's a lot less pressure. There's not somebody breathing down your neck, wanting to do inspections or doing draw inspections or, holding you to a timeline, charging extra points if something's not done on time, harassing you if subcontractors don't have paperwork filled out correctly, or you don't get lien releases, or all of those things you get to throw out the window when we're working with private money and doing projects with someone that builds a relationship with you and trusts you and the work you do.
So Justin, in this market, right, it's been the pandemic's created a really different dynamic. We have really surge markets. We have things, people exiting in different markets. If someone had just 10,000, where would you guide them? I mean, would you move them toward a wholesale? Would you move them to a single family house, to a rehab? Where would you guide someone with 10? And the other thing I want you to bring up is partnering, because you could find 5 other people with 10. Now you have 50 to work with. So kind of work in that range of where would if that's all you had, where would you begin in this kind of a market?
Yeah, absolutely. So realistically, depending on what you're doing for a cash machine, how you're making a living, and how serious you want to be about real estate investing would kind of dictate where to go and what to do. Obviously, like Loral mentioned, wholesaling is always an opportunity to not have to have a lot of capital or need access to a lot of capital up front. You've got to be, cold calling and beating the street and all that to find the deals, and then you can, sell those deals to other investors at a profit. Would I suggest that to many people? Not many, because if you're putting that much time and energy into finding a deal right now with the market the way it is, it's so hard to find a deal. If you find it, I don't know why you would pass along those profits to someone else, because as hard as you work to find the deal, it's way easier to create relationships with contractors or people that can do the work if you can't, as well as meet people that can fund deals for you. So, if I'm working that hard to go find a deal, I'm not going to wholesale it. With $10,000, a lot of hard money lenders are doing 90% of purchase price and 100% of rehab. So as long as you can prove to that lender that you're worthy of borrowing that money, like I said, they don't have much risk, because if they identify it as a deal, they don't care if it fails, they'll make it succeed. Like Loral says, another way to do it is if you've got, some family or friends that also want to get involved, is creating a partnership or joining forces and pooling that money together so you can go do these deals, whether it be all cash or that be money that's needed to finance deals. When we're talking $50,000 now, there's not many projects out there that you're going to be able to do for that, from the purchase to the rehab to whatever needs to be done. So if you're pooling that kind of money, typically it would be to show the ability to make payments on a loan, to have the reserves in place, or whatever the down payment, if you're going conventional, whatever the case may be, that's always a great option. But don't throw these profits away. If you find a deal, take advantage of it and figure out a way to make it happen and do it yourself.
Absolutely. Before we talk about contracts and due diligence, if you're enjoying this channel, I need you to subscribe to my channel. Again, this is financial literacy 5 days a week. 10 to 15 minutes a day is all I'm asking for you and your family to start this conversation about money around your kitchen table. So hit the subscription button, click the notification that it pops in every morning for you. And if there's other things you want to talk about, put it in the comments, including if you would like to talk to Justin personally, put that in the comments so our team's out here every day and can move that on with you. So Justin, let's talk about contracts and due diligence. We're going to do a recording another recording separately on can you write your own contract. But with 10,000, would you involve a broker in the fees? Would you involve an agent? How would you do the deal as far as the contract? And then what due diligence do they need to do?
So realistically, as far as the beautiful part about brokers and industry economy, whatever the case may be, is on the buy side. When you're buying something, a broker is always paid by the seller. Involving a broker is always going to benefit you because they have a license. They know what to look for. They know to make sure everything is going smoothly and following all the legal guidelines you need to make sure you're taken care of as a buyer. Is it possible to close and do things on your own? Absolutely. If you go out and you find a deal directly and it's off market and you can negotiate directly with the seller, always leave the brokers out of it, because in order for the seller to get what they want out of the deal, they have to mark it up. And so in that instance, I would absolutely work direct and cut brokers out of the deal, because it's not rocket science. You can Google and find contracts. You can go to your local, realtors and say, can I see a sample document of a sales contract? You can create these sales contracts. The title company is going to make sure that your contract would be valid and not be able to be voided or whatever, because they have to cover their rears as well. As far as to work with a broker or to not, it really depends on where you find the deal. If you find the deal online or you're searching and you see a house that's listed, all that means is the broker that's selling the house is going to get both sides if you go in unrepresented. They're typically not going to cut their commission in half if you come in unrepresented. So always make sure, if you get free representation in any aspect of life, whether it be a doctor, whether it be a lawyer, whether it be a real estate agent, whatever the case may be, free representation, take it. These people are professionals. They do this for a living, and it's never a bad thing. If you work hard to find the deal yourself, take care of it yourself. And that's one of the things that we, are experienced in and know how to do is filling out these contracts and setting up these contracts to be favorable for you as the buyer, as well as make the seller feel comfortable with you that they're going to be taken care of and that you know what you're doing and you've done this before. That's on the buy and sell side of the contract. Then you also have a bunch of other contracts that you need to worry about and care about as far as during the rehab process, as far as contracts with contractors and vendors and all of those things that you need to set up and make sure are in place so that you're protected at the end of a project. You're not left in a situation that you're in a bind or you're in legal trouble as well. So there's a lot of due diligence and a lot of things that go into the process and the project as opposed to just purchasing, fixing it up, and selling. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff and due diligence that takes place all along the way that we like to help coach and ensure people understand before they dive into something on their own.
Absolutely. And in my Wealth Cycle book, I'm actually going to read there's a whole chapter on due diligence and what to look for. What really are your money rules? Is it congruent? What's your exit? You always want to know what your exit is going in. What's big money investing? We would not believe that 10,000 is, but for some of you that might be. Some of the due diligence is who has oversight and is the information transparent? You really want to know who's managing the project. That's why I do a lot of my projects with Justin, because I know that if there's a bind, there's something happens with the tenant. Just, a while back, we had a tenant, smoking in bed, burned down part of our properties. I know that he is a field partner and a co-manager can actually run it. So due diligence is critical. Make sure you put a team together. Do not go out there and do this on your own. And again, if you go up to my search bar here on our channel, there's a lot of recordings about real estate, about getting loans, about being incorporated, and how to set up the structure. So Justin, thank you for being out here and sharing this information. And we'll be back another day and continuing to have conversations with you. Those of you that are out there, if you're enjoying this, again, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button. Before you leave, though, I want you to go take a quick quiz. I want you to take a quiz, takes you less than a minute. It's on the link below, and it's going to put you into 1 of 4 profiles. And whatever that comes up with, we're going to give you some feedback. There'll be a video from me explaining how you could have a better situation financially. That'll be followed by an application, and fill it out thoroughly. And in that application, if you'd like a conversation with myself or Justin, put that in there. That comes back to our team, and then we have one-on-one conversations with everybody who fills out that application because we want to serve you. So take advantage of that immediately, and we look forward to talking to you tomorrow.